Welcome. It is so good to have you join us for this Wednesday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. February in Jamaica carries a rhythm all on its own. As we mark Reggae Month, we pause to honor more than a genre of music. We celebrate a powerful cultural force that has shaped our identity, carried our stories, and echoed Jamaica's voice across the world. From the streets of Trenchtown to global stages, reggae has been our soundtrack of resistance, hope, love, and faith. It is the music that speaks truth to power, unites generations, and reminds us of who we are and where we come from. This month, we salute the pioneers who laid the foundation, the artists who continue to innovate, and the enduring legacy of a sound that remains unmistakably Jamaican.
You know, Trenchtown come like Mecca for music. When you talk about jazz and blues, ska, rocksteady, reggae music, is the birthplace for it right here.
Trenchtown is the cradle for Jamaican music, you know. Trenchtown. Because most of the singers come out of Trenchtown, you know.
Born from the streets of Trenchtown, reggae emerged as the voice of the people, a rhythm of resilience, unity, and pride.
It told our stories, carried our struggles, and shared our triumphs with the world.
Reggae is more than music. It is our soul, our identity, our legacy.
From the elders who paved the way to the youth shaping its future, reggae beats on in every Jamaican heart.
There is a land of pure beauty where blessing awaits for us all. And if your heart is clean, I know you will redeem in the land of the black, gold, and green.
Reggae is the heart of Jamaica. Protect it, preserve it, celebrate it.
Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, February 4, 2026. The government of Jamaica has signed a letter of intent with the Trans-America's fiber system for the subsea cable project. The document was signed on Tuesday during a ceremony at Jamaica House. The initiative will establish a new undersea internet connection for Jamaica, delivering faster speeds, greater reliability, and improved resilience across our national networks. It will also support key sectors such as education, healthcare, tourism, and e-commerce, while creating new opportunities for innovation, investment, and sustainable economic growth. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the initiative represents a significant and deliberate step in transforming the digital architecture of the country.
Today, we are making an investment not only in cables beneath the sea, but in opportunities above ground. We are laying the foundations for higher economic growth, stronger competitiveness, broader access to education and employment, and greater national resilience.
Energy and Telecommunications Minister Darrell Vaz explains that the TAM1 network being built by Transamerica Fiber System Limited represents a unique opportunity for Jamaica to connect to a new cable system. He says this is almost operational and the branch to Jamaica could be quickly added, saving time and millions of dollars as the cable passes just 220 kilometers south of the island.
It is also a part of a larger regional network which stretches 7,000 kilometers from the United States through Panama and Colombia. The initiative envisages a dedicated spur connecting the TAM1 network to Jamaica with a purpose-built branching unit delivering a fiber pair with up to 20 terabits per second of bandwidth. The main subsea cable includes redundancy with a primary link to Florida and a backup link to Panama.
Minister Vaz says the final agreement is expected to be signed later this year, with construction of the cable anticipated for the fourth quarter of 2026. It is also expected that the cable will be fully operational by the third quarter of 2027.
We embarked in this project 5 years ago. Right now we are happy to report that we are about 60% en route in terms of installing a 7,000-kilometer cable system across the entire region.
Policies are being considered to support local contractors and create a contractor class that will allow them to take on and deliver large projects successfully. Making the disclosure, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says this is critical as contractors are instrumental in converting projects under the Capital Expenditure CapEx program into growth opportunities.
We need contractors who are invested in the process. They have the technical expertise, not just in construction, but they have the technical expertise in project management, in financial management, in accounting and record keeping, that they understand the social, political and cultural issues in the areas that they work, that they are very much committed to delivering on time, not cutting costs, but saving costs. We definitely need a contractor class like that. And we're going to be taking some policy decisions soon to help to support our contractors, to help them develop so that they can take on projects at scale.
Dr. Holness reasons that the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development faces a capacity gap where local contractors are often limited to 1,000 unit developments, while the government's growth targets require firms capable of delivering 10,000 homes at a time. He says while procedures are necessary safeguards, public bureaucracy, assessments and procurement processes, which can take up to 3 years, are contributors to the slow growth rate of the country. Dr. Holness believes the speed of implementation needs to reflect the significant increase in capital budget.
As Jamaica grows and we have more capital projects to do, we are seeing the need to have a contractor class that is equal to the task. And without the contractor class thinking a particular way, we will not be able to achieve the kind of growth that we need.
Dr. Holness was speaking at the official opening of the new parent overnight suite at the Bustamante Hospital for Children in Kingston. Major crimes continue to trend downward for the first month of the year in comparison to the same period in 2025. January recorded 33 murders, marking a decline of 55.4%. This was followed by shootings, which dropped by 41.7%. The review period also registered declines in robbery, break-in, and rape. At the end of the month, the overall incidents were 199 compared to 313 last year. This is a 36.4% reduction, or 114 fewer incidents. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, is urging stronger personal action to tackle heart disease in Jamaica. He points to lifestyle and food choices as major drivers of heart attacks. Dr. Tufton reveals that an estimated 12,000 Jamaicans are currently living after experiencing a heart attack, according to the Jamaica Health and Lifestyle Survey. Speaking at the press launch of Heart Month by the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, Minister Tufton said this figure underscored the urgency of prevention.
It's about physical activity, it's about nutrition, it's about rest, it's about how we live within our environment and how that environment influences how we live. And I say so because sometimes it's about the choices we make, more often than not.
Dr. Tufton is challenging stakeholders in the food industry, manufacturers and vendors, to play a greater role in protecting public health, especially in schools. He highlighted work already started, including the new school nutrition policy, efforts to reduce sugary drinks, and ongoing work to eliminate trans fats from the national food supply.
Now, in the future, we intend to take on, we have already started through conversation, the elimination of trans fats in our food chain. We have gotten the industry to agree on a format, and myself and Minister Aubin Hill are working that through with the intention of eliminating trans fats as a major contributor to coronary heart disease.
The health minister also confirmed that alcohol policy reforms and new tobacco legislation were on the way, having gone through a joint select committee of Parliament. Shelters across the country are to be improved as the government moves to strengthen national disaster preparedness ahead of the upcoming 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie says the condition and readiness of emergency shelters are now at the top of the agenda. He was addressing journalists during an assessment tour of work being done on the new Falmouth Infirmary recently.
A lot of the shelters have been compromised because of Melissa, and in another 4 months we'll be launching the hurricane season, and we will now have to be looking seriously at some of our shelters. The SDC would have completed a survey island-wide of community centers, and we are going to be looking at community centers that can be converted, that we can remodel to turn those into shelters.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Social Development Commission, Omar Frith, is reporting that more than 170 applications have been received and are currently being processed by the SDC under the government's Community Church Cleanup and Restoration Initiative.
For those minor repairs that may happen, we'll have the support of the municipal corporations in the various parishes just to help us to verify that the damage that you report and the costing for the damages that you are seeking assistance, minor damages, those are verified. And the SDC will also visit to ensure that whatever cleanup you are seeking help with, we document, verify, and have that information ready to be submitted to the Ministry of Local Government.
The initiative forms part of the Post-Hurricane Melissa National Cleanup Program and provides a pool of $75 million in grant funding to support cleanup activities and minor repair works. All eligible churches in the affected parishes are encouraged to maintain engagement with SDC parish offices as the verification process advances. And finally, the government is moving to construct a new infirmary in St. Anne aimed at relocating vulnerable residents from the coastline. Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie says potential sites have already been identified in Seville, where land is owned by the St. Anne Municipal Corporation.
So under the rebuilt after Melissa, this is one of the facilities that will become a national project.
He adds that discussions will be held with the Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, to determine the most suitable location. A technical team will also conduct detailed assessments of the proposed sites before final recommendations are made.
If all goes well, I would expect that by the end of 27-28, we'll be looking at a new facility in terms of what needs to be done. Already there is a concept of what we want, and we will do that.
Minister McKenzie was speaking during a tour of the facility on Friday. The St. Anne Infirmary currently cares for 71 residents who spent 6 weeks in emergency shelters after the hurricane. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica Post is committed to being your preferred logistics partner. Enjoy the convenience of 3 to 5 days for international shipments at competitive rates and next business day delivery for local packages. Take advantage of our fast, reliable and ever-evolving services: zip mail, click and ship, fast track, EMS, parcel service, registered mail, corporate mail service and private letterbox. Access customer service support and track packages online. Visit our post offices island-wide and premium service centers at select select locations. For more information, go to jamaicapost.gov.jm. Conditions apply.
Up next, this feature explores the process of obtaining Jamaican citizenship for minors, outlining the requirements, procedures, and key considerations for parents and guardians.
Navigating the Jamaican citizenship by descent application process for minors involves precise steps and key documents. The entity tasked with this is the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency (PICA). Citizenship by descent in the case of minors apply to those who were born outside Jamaica after August 5, 1962 and whose mother or father was a Jamaican citizen by birth, descent or registration, including through marriage to a Jamaican at the time of the child's birth.
For a minor, the specific documents would include a completed application form, and the application is usually completed on the form R4. We have those on our website. They are available, or if you come in office, we have them available in hard copies for you. The completed form would be supported by the child's birth certificate and those of the parents, as well as their photograph ID. So we have the relational part of it sorted out there, as well as the right of the parent to make that application. And once they've decided that they want the child to acquire citizenship, they go ahead and make the application.
The legal process requires that the person acting on behalf of a minor must be either the parent or legal guardian. To apply, the adult must provide a court-issued legal document proving guardianship or a birth certificate showing they are the parent. Importantly, the parent or guardian does not need to be Jamaican. Foreign parents can also submit applications.
So, having completed the form and you have the supporting documents, we require, in addition to those already stated, photographs of the child, and they must be certified to say that this is the image of the child and it is true. This would be supported by the child's passport to say that this is the child and goes by that particular name. And these are things that we check for during the process of submission. Once we accept the application, we review the document for their authenticity, and if there are any concerns, we can always raise them with the appropriate authority to ensure that you are not bringing any document to us that can be questioned.
When applying, it's not just about providing the necessary documents. The application also requires references.
Now, the application also requires references who should know you, the applicant, and can verify your background. So who you say you are that person. You are of good standing and someone who we can transact business with. We look into the background of those references as well. And so while we may not know the child in any great detail, the adults involved are reviewed. Now, should we find any flaws in the background of anyone, then it calls for additional due diligence, and we are very thorough with that because we are very cognizant of persons trying to take opportunities for trafficking of children, for example. So we are very thorough that you are bona fide and the documents are authentic.
Parents or guardians making citizenship applications may also be asked to complete a statutory declaration.
For example, the name of the parent may appear in spelling in two different ways, simple ways, maybe the pronunciation of an I or an E in the name, and only to reconcile those simple differences we may ask them to complete the statutory declaration, but it is not a standard requirement.
Once all backgrounds have been thoroughly reviewed, the decision-making process moves to the next level.
According to the Jamaican Nationality Act, it is the minister who makes a decision on who acquires citizenship. And so the matter is sent to the Ministry of National Security for their own authenticity and verification of documents and who you are and whether or not it would be in the national interest for this child to be so considered. We await a decision here, and when we have that decision, we announce it to the parents and we prepare a certificate to confirm the status of citizenship to that minor.
The application process requires a fee of 20,000 Jamaican dollars payable at the time of submission. Citizenship applications can only be submitted at the agency's office at 8 Waterloo Road, Kingston. It's also crucial to understand the timeline involved in this process.
The standard time is 24 months to submitting the application for a final decision. In those 24 months, the due diligence is usually completed. We will check the authenticity with any external organizations that we need to. And we will verify information that was provided in the application as much as is necessary. So in all, the total time taken to complete the due diligence is 2.5 years. It could be shorter depending on the challenges that we overcome and how quickly we are able to do so. But we do undertake to get the decision to the minister in 24 months.
However, there are some factors that may cause a delay in the process.
The availability of persons to be interviewed during the due diligence process. We do ask that the references be Jamaicans and living in Jamaica. We do also ask that the applicant be available for a due diligence process. And insofar as they are overseas or elsewhere doing other things and cannot be reached, those contribute to delays in completing the process.
And are there possible reasons not to grant citizenship to a minor?
The application, once the requirements are satisfied at the front of the process, there is usually nothing to say to the minister, don't grant this child, except what we may discover during the due diligence process. And like I said, it is the minister who makes the decision ultimately.
Are you confident that you are the legal owner of your property? Take action to secure your property ownership. Get a registered certificate of title and become the legal owner of your property. To register your property and obtain a certificate of title, you will need to provide a tax registration number (TRN), a valid government-issued identification, a survey diagram, documentation to prove ownership, up-to-date property tax certificate, the names, addresses, and occupations of 2 neighbors over the age of 50 who are not family members and can give a declaration on your behalf. Proof that you have been in open, undisturbed, and undisputed possession of the property for 12 years or more. For further information on registering your property and obtaining a certificate of title, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. Email asknla@nla.gov.jm or message us at WhatsApp at 876-418-5089. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better.
Born from the heartbeat of Jamaica, reggae tells a story of struggle, resilience, and unity. This next feature unpacks how the sound became a global movement.
If reggae can ever be edged to a set place, then 13 Brentford Road is its home. It was here at Studio One in 1968 that Rocksteady briefly went back 20 years, married the folk rhythms of Mento, and gave birth to reggae.
Up to 8, 6, then reggae.
The guitar led the reggae music orchestra, and the bass maintained the melodic patterns in the background. It is interesting to note that even though the fusion would change the course of local music history forever, it was to be one of its most celebrated strokes of luck.
No, I didn't really want to give out this piece of information, but since we're at it, I won't be mean. Clement Dad brought a piece of machinery to the studio for about a year. It was sitting there, and no one knew exactly what to do with it. And so they hooked it up one day and decided to implement it. And they discovered it was a tape delay. And so they hooked it into the machine and they started doing it into the recording. So when they put the guitar sounds through the tape delay, it comes back saying, the rest of studios hearing this recording out there thought it was the guitar making that and just copied that, and that was the birth of reggae music.
Jackie Mitu invited Larry Marshall to try out on the new sound. The experiment yielded Nanny Goat and Baby Tell Me Why. But it was Toots and the Maytals, Do the Reggae, that christened the music form forever. Reggae would deliver dance crowds from the sluggish rocksteady beat. The people needed a change in pace. Reggae upped the tempo. Reggae turned up the heat on some of the social and economic challenges that the people were facing. It premiered as the voice of the people. Reggae was a potent messenger for the Rastafari philosophy, which single-handedly cemented the music form as a cornerstone of Jamaican culture. Bob Marley was one of them who took to the music and the teachings. Marley had been around from the ska era. In 1961, he and a couple of his brethren, Peter Tosh and Bunny Livingston, formed the Rude Boys, which later became known as the Wailers. The teachings were often put to music in either Sir Coxson's Studio One or Duke Reid's Treasure Isle recording studios. The recording sessions overflowed with free-spiritedness and an abundance of talent. Hits were made by ear.
Studio One happens to be the station.
Studio One is widely regarded as the mecca of reggae music.
Studio One is called the University of Reggae Music. And as an artist, if you didn't work your way through that university, you would not be a complete artist.
This is the Motown of the Caribbean. Everything started right here, so right now you have to give a lot of respect to Mr. Dodd because he had a very good ear for music.
The local music industry learned the rudiments of music distribution as early as the 1940s, when English fans showed a willingness to buy its R&B covers. When American rhythm and blues were hard to come by, sound system owners Duke Reid and Sir Coxsone Dodd got artists like Stanley Motto to make their own. With the advent of a global village through the economic, social, and political phenomenon called globalization, it is now beyond one's mental facets, where this world-shaking cultural mystique known to humanity as simply reggae will take Jamaica, land we love.
We're at the end of today's show, but be sure to join us again tomorrow for another lineup geared towards providing you with information on the government's policies and initiatives for building a better Jamaica. You may visit our website, jis.gov.jm, to rewatch this show or to catch up on the others we have on the site. I'm Theodore Henry, telling you thanks for watching from our production team here at the JIS.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.